Hello, so you find me on a beautiful early January day, and after several months of being away from Hattrick, it's about time I went and checked if she's survived all of the recent storms we've had. So I'm going to make the short trip up to Scotland to go and see how she's doing. Now for me that means a 6-hour slog up the motorway, but unfortunately for you and the magic of filming, we can get there right now. And we're here. Yeah, it's amazing how quickly a 6-hour journey goes when you edit the whole thing out. But yeah, it's been a pretty decent journey. Straight through, no dramas. It's been pretty beautiful, to be fair, particularly the evening as I was coming through Glasgow. Bitterly cold up here. It's saying 1 degree on my car, but there's been a lot of ice on a lot of vehicles as I've been driving up here, which makes me think that maybe it's a little bit colder than 1 degree. But yeah, anyway, about to pull into RB, so we get to find out if Hattrick has survived her. I mean, it's been almost 3 months now since I left her in end of September or mid-September. So yeah, so we will go and find out now if she's in one piece. Well, I gotta say, this has changed a lot since I was last here. Joe asked me how busy it was last time I checked in. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Hattrick is way over there in the back, and there must be about 8 boats in front of her, which is annoying because I was kind of hoping that I was going to be able to park right next to her, which would make the massive unloading job I've got to do a bit more easy. But oh well, first step, let's go find her and see what state she's in before I commit to taking anything out of the car. I think I've spotted her. Still upright. I know you can't see me right now because it's pitch black. I don't think that's one of my tarps. I did a pretty crappy job of covering her before I went away, so I'm not entirely surprised if she's yeah, not entirely surprised if she's not completely covered, but actually, to be fair, they've survived better than I thought. Oh. Chilly. Nice icy deck. My plan here seems to kind of work. I didn't want this to fill with water, so I left it with that board in there, and it's a hole into the drain, and that actually seems to have kept it pretty dry in there. Oh. gonna lie, not too bad. I mean, it's absolutely bloody freezing, obviously, and there's a bit of water in a couple of the bilges, but not too bad. I'm amazed there's still actually power. Wait, I guess. Cabin lights, there we go. Don't know why that took me so long to find. I got light. Oh, there you go. Okay, we can do that with some light. Well, I am very amazed at the oh, these are the bilges. Okay, well, I'm amazed that we actually have power. I really didn't expect that to be the case. Pretty cold in here. In fact, yeah, there's actually ice on the ceiling. A little musty. Bit of water in the bilges, but yeah, not as bad as it, you know, as it could be. I feel like, you know, pump out a couple of these bilges, give them a few of the surfaces a wipe down, and we should be pretty good to go. But what I'll do, I'm not gonna. I need to get sorted, get power on, try and get some warmth in here, because, you know, right now it's like I really don't want to spend the night in here. So yeah, I got a lot to do, and I'm tired, and I'm hungry, and so I'm gonna leave it there. And then what we'll do is we'll pick up in the morning. We'll have a proper look around and see where we're up to, and we'll have a chat about what the plan is for this trip. So, but yeah, so she's been on her own for a few months in some pretty bad weather. Not so bad so far. So it is the next day. I'd say morning, but it's actually afternoon because I've had a very, very slow start to the day. So it was so cold last night. I didn't sleep that well, to be honest. I've got a big heavy blanket, which for some reason I didn't really think about getting until, I don't know, 4 in the morning or something. So yeah, pretty cold. I always find it a bit hard to adjust to sleeping on the boat. It's not as comfy as a full big mattress, but yeah, in the end it was all right. So it's a beautiful day. Can't really tell in here because the cover's on. It's pretty dark and dingy in here, so I'm going to try and uncover the windows a little bit. Done a bit of just uncovered the cockpit a little bit just to make it a bit easier to move around, and I've generally just been doing some cleaning and sorting out. The boat kind of was dryish, as I said last night, but it with a bit of damp, and you know, I find just wiping everything down with a bit of disinfectant does help to spruce it up a bit. So basically, plans for this trip, I've not got a huge amount to do. Like I say, main reason was just to come up and make sure the boat was here. But plans I do have is I'm going to try and refit the new toilet, which I got from a salvage boat last time I was up here. I've also got, if I open up one of these cupboards, you can probably see in here, the boat has this kind of like wooden trim which covers up the seam between, you know, basically the deck and the hull. It's kind of obviously original, so it's got damp over the years. It's just very thin ply, so it's delaminated, looks pretty horrible. So I've actually got some sort of grey PVC plastic, which should, I've measured it right, I've had it a very long time, about a year now I guess, but if I measured it right when I ordered it, it should basically be a direct replacement. So that's another plan. I'm going to remove all of the old crappy wood. It goes all the way up to the sort of front of the V-berth, clean it up a bit, and then basically stick this new one on, which I think will tidy it up a bit, but it'll also, that's quite a cold joint there because there's no insulation where it kind of clamps together, so you tend to get quite a lot of condensation forming along there, and I'm kind of hoping if I seal that in, it might get a little bit less damp, because as I say, hatchery can be a little bit damp at times. So that's kind of the main job I'm going to get up to when I'm up here. But one other thing I do want to try, which I hope I'm going to do tomorrow, is I'm actually going to live stream my day tomorrow, or at least a chunk of it. Basically, it's mainly a technology test. I can live stream sort of directly from the GoPro, and I've tested it a couple of times and it seems to work okay using the mobile phone signal. And this is something we've kind of wanted to do for quite a while. Ideally, like we'd like to do it, you know, when one passage, it'd be great to be able to live stream and take you guys along with it. However, you know, obviously we're not sure the technology and whether the signal's going to be strong enough and if it's going to work. So I thought while I'm up here, while I'm in a place which has pretty decent signal and I'm stationary, we'd give it a go, see if it's of interest. And like I say, it might just be interesting to follow along while I'm doing some jobs up here. It'll give you guys all a chance to, you know, ask questions and have a look around the boat and maybe have a look around the yard and all that sort of stuff, if assuming anyone turns up to watch. Now it's going to be a bit weird because for me that's in the future, but for you guys watching this, it'll probably be far, far in the past. But if you're seeing this, it means that I did go ahead with it. And if you go to the live section of our channel, you'll probably be able to see that stream from, I'm guessing, probably about 6 months ago at this point. So I'm not going to get too much more done today other than a bit of cleaning and prepping. So I'm just going to take it easy today. I'm not in a major rush. And then tomorrow we'll try and get onto it with a vengeance. So what I wasn't able to show you last night was... So here's Hat-Trick. Now, when I left her, I could drive straight up to the front of her, park my van right in front of her here, and I've come back to is that we're behind this. And they must be pretty busy in the yard this year. I know last year they kind of cut down the numbers a bit, but I'm guessing they've gone back on that a little bit because I've never seen it like this up here. But if I just follow you out, you'll see just how far I've now got to go to get to my boat. So yeah, quite a long way. Now be a good time to tell them I want to get out early this year. Right, anyway, here's my plastic on the roof, so let's get that out and have a look, and we'll at least see if it's going to fit. Give me a random piece of wood. Probably find something to do with that. Yeah, here it is. Light grey. Hope it's wide enough. I think it is. I measured it, so yeah, and it's pretty just thin, flexible PVC. Should mould quite well to it, and I've just got a load of adhesive kind of silicone stuff to stick it down with. So fingers crossed. Okay, well, I managed to get the old crappy wood covering bit off it. It's actually screwed on. I didn't really kind of anticipate, only with some little tiny screws. Annoyingly, I'm not sure if I've got my screw box. I'm going to have to dig through the thing. If I do, I might have some small screws that will do the job. Otherwise, I'm going to have to probably order some in. But before I can get to putting the new stuff on, I need to decide what I'm going to do underneath this. Now, as I said before, this is basically kind of covering the join between, you know, the deck and the hull. Now, the hull is dual skinned, and so is the deck for some of it. But where it kind of sandwiches together here, it's just sort of solid fiberglass that's kind of, I guess it's kind of bolted together. I'm not 100% sure. Now, it's really damp in there, and it's, you know, it's pretty manky in there. So, you know, first job is going to be, you know, to give it a really good clean out. So I'm going to get some like disinfectant and brush and give it a good scrub out and try and clean it. And then I'm thinking I'm just basically going to fill this seam with silicone, essentially. I've got some decent marine sort of grade silicone. Now, that's not, I think, going to solve. So some of it's condensation, but I don't know if some of it's leaking between the joint as well. Obviously, I did the job with the rubbing strake last year, which I think made things better, but hasn't solved the problem. Plus, there's probably all these deck fittings here. You see that this is the underside of the rail, the tow rail that runs along the outside. They, I'm pretty sure, are leaking. The problem is that there is no way that I can remove them. They are basically under here. That I'm not going to be able to take that off. There's a stainless steel bolt that goes up into the sort of aluminium pegs, I guess you'd call them, that the rail runs through. They've been in there 30 years. You put aluminium and stainless steel together and they just corrode into each other, and that's what's happened. So there is no way that I'm going to be able to remove those without snapping the bolts off inside them, and then I'm going to have to cut them off, which means a whole new tail rail. If I want to get new ones of them, they're like 100 quid a pop, and there's 20 or something of them. So I'm going to be into thousands and thousands of pounds to replace that tow rail. So it's just not a feasible job to do. So water might be getting in between the sort of two layers of the deck from those. Can't really do anything about that. If it's getting in through the sort of join here, sealing it on the inside here is obviously not going to solve the problem. But it might reduce the amount getting into here. And I'm only using kind of silicone. I'm not using Silkaflex or anything like that is going to set solid. So in theory, pulling it out later, whilst it might be a bit of a ball ache job, it's not an impossible job. And if I'm going to put a new cover on this, I might as well. So interesting to hear your thoughts on that. I have a feeling some people might tell me it's a terrible idea and I shouldn't do it, but by the time you see this, it'll be quite a while ago. So unfortunately, it's a done deal. So yeah, get to do some cleaning now, get the heater in here and dry it all out properly, and then we can squidge a bit of silicone all over it.